Yo, what is going on YouTube? Want to go ahead and drop another fire blitz for you today, and that's going to be utilizing a concept that is not really popular, and that is the ability to get a safety at a defensive lineman spot. And when you do so, you have much more flexibility in terms of lurking with him, but also utilizing that extra speed to just scream at your opponent, right? So for the sake of this, let me go ahead and break it down from the start. We're going to be coming out in nickel 335, right? We're always coming out in nickel 335. Just in case we want to audible over to the 335 wide, if we want to stay in 335, or in this case, we're going to be audibling over to nickel normal. This is in the 4-6 playbook. So what you need to know is you need to know that this defensive end right here will go to your defensive end spot that is on the left when you audible to nickel normal. So if we're going to go ahead and have an edge threat or something like that, it goes right there. This one actually becomes a defensive tackle. Doesn't really have much purpose. Neither really does the defensive tackle itself. Both of those are defensive tackles in nickel normal. Now, when it comes to your linebackers, your fastest linebacker, if you're utilizing the nickel normal audible down scheme, is actually going to be this player over here. It's going to be Adrian Amos. So if you are audibling down a lot, and that is going to be your user, that player right there is the answer. As you see, I've just got safeties at all three spots for linebackers, and then corners at safeties. Your standard, nickel 335 type of breakdown, right? But let me go ahead and show you how this will work. We're going to set audibles for nickel normal because that's what we want to audible into. So the way I personally like setting up audibles for this is I like going cover 2-man, I like going over storm brave, I like going cover 4 quarters, and I like going under smoke. Now, under smoke is much more of that super screamer, not really worried too much about coverage, just knowing you're going to get home pressure-wise. Over storm brave's kind of in the middle. Quarters is going to be what we want to run when we're trying to run a quarter, a match concept, but still bring a little bit of pressure. And then cover 2-man is going to be our coverage team. So if you wanted to swap out over storm brave or under smoke for, say, a nickel blitz, you could definitely do that. But just showing you how I would set mine up. Now, let's get into how this works. We're going to come out in any play in 335, and we will be audibling to the right and audibling down to those sets. Now, the cool thing that we're going to break down here is we'll show this against, I guess, gun tray, I guess. Kind of mimic a trips tight end. But watch what happens when we audible. When we go to the right and we audible straight over to nickel normal, you see that that safety goes to defensive end. Now, this is kind of twofold because it works really well in two different ways. If we want to drop back in coverage, we are not stuck on the offensive line. So you see how, this player right here, I can't go backwards. I can go in, I can go out, but I cannot go back. The fact that we audible down and get a safety here, I can now take this player and go wherever I want to. So I can essentially shift my line over to the right, and now I am almost in a dollar type of look, right? I mean, that's basically almost what it looks like. It looks almost like 335 wide or 335 normal. But I just wanted to show you, you can actually do this, so you're not stuck on that defensive lineman. The other thing to note is we're going to use this concept to be able to get home free with a blitz. But wanted to go ahead and show you the cover 4 quarters, just because normally in cover 4 quarters you're having to re-blitz the 3-rec. Okay, that's going to be your user, and then you try to replace the 3-rec. So in a lot of sets, it looks something like this, right? Now, this guy would actually be on the line of scrimmage, right? So it would look more like this. Your user would be here. You would have a bluff blitz 3-rec, which does not work nearly as well as an actual 3-rec. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and call this play again, and I'm going to show you the blitz, because I don't need to get into coverage defenses, in my opinion. Either you know how to run cover 4 quarters or you don't. If you don't know how to run cover 4 quarters and you want me to break it down a little bit, I can try. Generally, though, it's just really good. It's really good match coverage. You have to worry about a couple, bombs here and there, but for the most part, it takes away a lot of the meta. So let's go ahead and show you the Blitz. That's what most people are interested in. Blitzing is always fun, and this one is especially fun because it's cute and nobody's expecting it. So we're coming out. We're going to audible over. Now, it's going to look the exact same. We're going to be stuck playing on that defensive end. So let me go ahead and show you this. Once again, we're just going to come out and level sail. We're going to audible over, right? So we're audibling over, in this case, to Overstorm Brave. We're going to pinch our whole team, and it looks like that, right? Now, we're just going to play on this defensive end, and we are going to put him into a vert hook. Now, one thing to note is you can see I can't actually go off sides. Like, I am holding down on the left analog stick, and I cannot go off sides. But what's cool about this is you're going to be able to get somebody to come in free. And then and the cool thing will be this right here. If you don't hold it down all the way, and you kind of just get used to the hang of it, so where like you're barely holding the analog stick down, you're going to be the player that comes in free. So you'll be able to sprint straight at the quarterback from that defensive end standpoint with a safety, and that's huge. So you can go ahead, audible over, right? Very quick, very easy setup. There's nothing to it, to this Blitz. Now you'll see, you come over, you dive, quarterback can't even throw the ball away. This works very similar to the manual rush up the A-gap, except this one we're utilizing it off the edge, and they're basically never going to really expect it because we can do this out of man, we can do this out of zone, and most importantly, we can use that same player and drop into coverage. So when we're sitting there nonstop in coverage defenses, right, when we're running cover 2 man with purples, or if we're running cover 4 quarters, and then we just sneak that in there, they're going to be forced to block. And once they block, that's where it becomes really fun, because say they go ahead, and they get used to that, they block, right? So we're going to do the same thing. So if they were to go ahead and block the running back, we can see and just peel out. We're lurking on a safety. So there's literally no downside to what we're doing. We're still going to technically have, the lurker that safety gets. We're still going to be able to jump for passes because we're on a safety. There's really no downside to it at all. The only downside, I guess, is theoretically they could table route you to the left, but you can make adjustments for that. So let me go ahead. I'm going to show it to you one more time. That was out of Overstorm Brave. This time we'll do it out of cover 4 quarters, right? So do it out of cover 4 quarters. We're just going to blitz our linebackers. Vert hook the defensive end. If they send him out, you see we're coming in stupid fast right off the edge, basically because the tackle doesn't react to us. So that's how to do it out of quarters. Now, I will say this. If you are facing like a trips tight end, when I do this and I actually want to blitz, I tend to man up the tight end and flat the outside corner, right? So I would do something like that. I would move this guy down, and then I would play on this guy. Now, these are just my adjustments, right? You can make whatever adjustments you actually want, but I just wanted to show you what mine were, and as you can see, the pressure's silly. Now, I mean, keep in mind, I just dove and missed, but you saw how fast you come in. They simply don't block you. Now, under smoke, if your opponent is blocking a ton of people, now this is not necessarily great against this set, but say they are in a bunch or a tight. So let me show you this. So if they were in a tight set, tight offset tight end is very popular right now. That is when you would want to mix something like this up with this under smoke. Because now with under smoke, you can do the same concept. You're blitzing off the left side. You're hopefully on the same side with your user as the running back. So now, if their running back goes out on a route, right, you can simply go play him, right? You can play him. You're still blitzing, still getting somebody home free. Now, the key to this, though, is if they start blocking, right? So if they're in these tight sets and they are blocking people, so in this case, I'm going to block the running back, right? We're going to go ahead, auto back down to under smoke. Same thing here. If they block, you see, outside corner still comes in. We can be blocked by them blocking the running back, but the corner is still coming in. And once we realize that we're blocked, we can dip out of there. We can go get into coverage, and we still are going to know that we're getting pressure. And that's key in this whole grand scheme of things. Now, as I mentioned, you can run Overstorm Brave, you can run Cover 4 Quarters. Undersmoke's going to be your Super Screamer. Cover 2-man, simple. You guys have seen this a million times by now, right? Do the same thing right here. You can even leave this guy blitzing. You hold back. You go lurk whatever you want. You have full-blown normal coverage defense that it's going to make your opponent respect. Now, if you want to play more of a coverage defense and you don't really like the idea of blitzing that many people when you're in undersmoke, right? Say your opponent's always in trips, so it's hard to get that corner to come in, quick enough. You can zone him out. So instead of doing a, undersmoke, for instance, you can do a cover 3 cloud, or you can do a cover 2. Like there's nothing that stops you from mixing these up. So like what I would do in that scenario is I would run cover 3 cloud, and I'll show you what I would do here. We're gonna go ahead do the same thing, right? So we're gonna come out and tray. Dagger's a good play. Audible over. You see we're here. We can blitz those linebackers and rush in if we want, right? So if we want to come in, we can try to come in that way. Obviously, the running back was blocking. Now, if you want to be in coverage, that's where this kind of just becomes fun, right? Because now you can go ahead, put this outside corner in whatever you want, leave those guys there. You could spy this defensive end right here, or the defensive tackle. You can legitimately make anything you want, and you can rush essentially 2 people. And there's nothing stopping you from you even giving up the tell and just taking your player and dropping back into coverage like this, right? Now, it does look goofy if you stand still, right, because he goes into his defensive line stance, but doesn't change anything. You still get all the perks of being a safety at that spot. So you can bluff the blitz by standing at the line of scrimmage. You could do whatever you want. You could even help run defense, right? So they're running to the left. They're running to the left. If I can go stand over to the left, right? You can stand in this direction. You can do so much with this concept that I definitely think that this could catch on, especially now that safeties and everybody's 99 speed. I mean, 99 speed is going to force you to block, and then if you block, I can still reach every single thing that might get open. So just something for you guys to consider if you're playing Mutt. In Regs, it's great as well. Regs, I like it. I like utilizing it with players like Devin White, or you can even put your fastest safety, right? So you play Washington. Troy Apke in here, 95 speed. It goes bananas, guys. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Catch you guys tomorrow with yet another video.